friends, and welcome to another episode of The Good, The Bad, and The Boring. My name is Leesha, and I will be your captain today as we talk about all of the things that are coming out in the beauty realm. And when I say this, there's a lot we need to talk about. I don't know if I did one of these last week, but I feel like I just have a list that's like 10 miles long, no doubt, that needs to be addressed. So let's get into it. Shout out, as always, to my Noir Nation, because I haven't done it in a while. I love you guys. LeeshaLand.com. We are so close to 100 patrons, not subscribers, which is so freaking cool, and I don't even have words. You guys are awesome. I absolutely love our little baby community. So the first thing that I need to talk about is something that I should have, so I'm just looking at when this came out. I definitely should have talked about this sooner. That is this Morphe palette. So I'm talking about the 350 Fierce by Nature Artistry palette, which is a 350, I'm sorry. This palette is all sorts of warm eyeshadows. There's oranges, there's pinks, there's reds, there's warm terracotta browns, there's yellows. And then there's these two green colors. There's like a lime green and then this like kiwi shimmery ass pale green. And it's the freaking weirdest palette I have ever, we've talked so much about a warm neutral palette with a pop of blue. Warm neutral palette with a pop of blue. And I understand that because warm tends to mean oranges, right? They all kind of have that orangey vibe. And blue is a complementary color to orange. And so then here, I guess technically, green is a complementary color to red. But this palette is very less red and much more orange. And so you get lots of peas and carrots vibes. It's super weird. I've seen some people do some looks with them, but I feel like the vibe is I'm a Morphe affiliate and I'm proving to you that it's possible. Where the vast majority of people are in my shoes where they're like, what the fuck is that? But I just feel like they're shoving this kind of vibe down your throat that's like, it's possible, see? And they're like ignoring every other color except this freaking green and like a bright orange. How many times are you gonna do a green and orange look in your life? Once, and they showed it right there. That's it. I don't buy Morphe in general, but that one just made me like, freaking really? Speaking of Morphe, the other thing that we can talk about, I know you guys heard about this. I know you heard about the Morphe or Wet n Wild coming out with their first 40 pan palette, and the layout is identical. Hey, baby.
Hi, guys. What?
You're just funny. Okay, I love you. Thank you for telling me about my stickers. Where were we? Wet n Wild released their first 40 pan palette, and a lot of people were very quick to notice that it had a layout that was very similar to a specific Morphe palette that came out last year. I don't know when it came out. I don't pay attention. But it looks very, very similar to the James Charles Morphe palette. Down to the placement of every color, everything is very, very similar. The difference mainly is the price. Now, I wonder if there are, I'm sure I can find comparisons for you guys to show the difference between the Morphe palette and the Wet n Wild. I know the Wet n Wild one is a lot less expensive, but it felt, there was a freaking vibe when they announced this. They were shady to James Charles on Twitter. I think it was a whole thing with it. I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel about it because it's sort of like a, I mean, you that dead ass copied. Sort of like when you guys called me out when I did my PR unboxing with Alter Ego, and I didn't know that they were literally a dupe brand and copied the exact layout of some Anastasia and Natasha Denona palettes, and I'm like, I don't know how I feel about this now. Yeah, kind of like that. It was a choice. I feel like they could have changed the layout up. I guess when it comes down to it, Morphe themselves are a brand that started doing, like, they copied Coastal Scents and they copied BH Cosmetics, who were doing the 88 pan palettes friggin' 10, 15 years ago, probably more, in the sense that Morphe just takes like pre-made stuff from China and slaps their label on it. So can you really be mad at Wet n Wild for copying the copier? I guess not. The next thing we'll talk about is the new Colourpop palette. So Colourpop, of course, as always, is coming out with a new 9-pan palette every time we take a breath of air, and this newest one is a lilac themed palette. I'm not gonna lie, when I saw that they came out with a new 9-pan palette and it was a lighter purple version, I was definitely sort of like, great, I don't need that. That's, you know, it's not something that I even thought about where they were going and the hype that they were building with all of these palettes, these monochromatic. Doing a lighter version of a palette they already had felt kind of like, meh, there's already other things that we could use. At least that was my view on it. If you look right here, you can see the differences between them. So they're not identical. They definitely would play well together, but for the most part, I'm kind of like, I mean, there it is. Still want my gray monochromatic one. I'm hoping that that comes out at some point. I'm sure it will. Eventually, they'll need to put something out, right? But nah, that's sort of my feelings on that. It Cosmetics also has their heart brush that is coming out again. They have this every single year. I thought I brought it upstairs because I did get it in the mail. I always like looking at those. I never use them. I feel like they're really, I'm seeing if I can find it in my brush nonsense over here. I really like them. I think that they're a cute collectible, but I never really actually use them as a heart, and you can't really tell it's a heart unless you're looking at it from like directly on top, and it never looks as perfect as it does in the promo picture. It always looks a little bit more like, not like this, but more like this. Okay, so I'm going to talk about this and then I'm going to talk about the last thing. You guys probably know what the last thing is. This is the Melt Cosmetics Radioactive palette. I kind of really want to swatch this. I have kind of been sleeping on Melt Cosmetics. The last time Sephora had their sale, their VIB or whatever sale, I ended up getting the Smoke Sessions palette and then their 10-year, or I can't remember what it's called, the other palette that they had come out with. And then I saw that they were coming out with this bright, shimmery awesomeness. Melt has really good quality eyeshadows, and I'm always impressed when I get to swatch them. So this immediately caught my eye, and I really want to touch it. But at the same time, I don't. You know what I mean? I want to go to Sephora and swatch it and feel and probably be amazed by it, but then I just kind of want to be left in the dark so I don't buy it. But definitely grabbed my attention. It's very, very beautiful, and it's literally like right up my alley with the colors and the vibe I'm always gravitating towards. And then last but certainly not least is the Vina volumes. I don't know what happened with Anastasia Beverly Hills, but something had to have happened. Whether it was leaks of what they were coming out with or production, I don't know. Something happened because they have released an astronomical amount of products and palettes in a very, very small time frame, and everything here is very themed around festivals and spring and bright, and it's very not the vibe you usually get for fall. We first saw this Vina palette, which had more of a purple kind of vibe going on with it, and then all of a sudden we see this volume 2 that comes out, and it's got lots of blues going on, and it's just like a big palette, lots of blues, all sorts of stuff. And then pretty much the day before the next one is coming out, we get volume 3 is launched, and they're all launching like the same day, I believe. And the way I feel about this, because some of these are pretty, I like volume 3 most. I will say that because, you know, I gravitate towards bright orange colors and it's very beautiful. I really don't understand how ABH sorts their products. I've seen pictures where people will go in Photoshop and reorganize them to make more sense and to be more aesthetically pleasing, and it's so much prettier, but they always kind of go all over the board with them, and I don't particularly like that. To be honest with you guys, I was thinking about this yesterday. I'm just gonna wait a couple of months until all of these end up showing up at TJ Maxx and Marshalls, because I can almost guarantee you when they're coming out with this many products all at once, and what, these are gonna probably, how much are these gonna cost each? And then those glitters too, which I hate the packaging on those. I really just, I can't, the small packaging like that, the small like tall glass packaging or plastic, I'm not sure what it is, but it just makes it so difficult to get the product. I like more of a short and fat for glitter packaging than long and tall. I'm trying to find how much these are gonna cost. $60 each, okay? So these are going to be $60 each, and they're all coming out at the same time, and they're all only available at Sephora. So, because we also know that Anastasia Beverly Hills has to be having a holiday collection as well, my thought is, since this all clearly was not meant to come out now, and they pushed it out now for whatever reason so that they didn't have product sitting on shelves for 6 months. I don't know what the deal is, but I can only assume that if I wait a little bit, they're gonna show up for half price at TJ Maxx not that long away, because Sephora is not going to be able to have all of the space, all of the retail space for these gigantic palettes, along with all of the holiday stuff and along with all of the other launches that ABH is going to come out with. So that's my plan. If it doesn't happen, I'm not heartbroken, but I really just do feel like, if I wait, I can get these for way cheaper. You feel me? You feel me? So that's basically all I have to talk about today. Those are the main things that I've seen. Let me know what you've seen, your thoughts on everything. I would love to know. And that's about it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. As always, keep tagging me on Instagram for new products that you see and want me to talk about on GBB. I really appreciate the help with that, and I'll see you next time.